At a recent election for the Dona Ana Soil and Water Conservation District, many of the people who were standing in line waited over an hour before casting their vote. One man, Michael Flynn, was timing it. His phone read 28 minutes, 16 seconds as I approached him.
You have to participate, you have to show up, and you have to do your part, whether it's a bond election or dog catcher election.
About halfway through the line,
Lord.
Phyllis Roberts didn't seem to mind at all.
Waiting in line is not a problem. Absolutely not. I think of others in other countries that either can't vote, or if they do, they're so intimidated and harassed. We're very privileged in our country.
Dona Ana County Clerk Lynn Ellins reminded me this was not a county election. It was a special district election coordinated and financed by the Dona Ana Soil and Water Conservation District.
This is a totally different animal. And we said we'd help, and I'm beginning to think I'm sorry I offered.
Instead of the typical 38 polling centers, only 5 were open from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. instead of 7 to 7. There was a good reason so many people turned out. It was to vote on whether the district could impose a mill levy, a tax.
This one is different because there's a tax associated with it. And when you want to raise taxes, people get excited.
Ellins says he wants to work with State Representative Bill McCamley to introduce legislation to fight unnecessary lines at the polls. McCamley had his own trouble waiting in line.
I showed up at 11 o'clock. It was a 40-minute wait, roughly. I had to work. So I went and said, I can't do this. So I went and rushed and got a lot of work done, enough that I could go back at 3 o'clock. I waited 90 minutes and was finally able to vote around 4:30.
That possible legislation would not come for some time, and it also assumes McCamley is reelected. But here is what he has in mind.
It's cheaper to have one big election than it is to have a bunch of different elections. But if you have one big election, you allow for longer hours, and you allow for people to be able to research one series of issues on one ballot, which basically makes it easier and makes it more accessible. And that's really what we're trying to look at here.
About 2,900 people voted against the mill levy, and only 500 voted for it. Sloan Patton, KRWG News.